It's video time. Let's get to this.
Hi there guys, Sam here. Welcome back to another video. You join me in our molten orange Fiesta ST-3, the Mark 7, to go through, well, how much this car's kind of cost us over the last 3 years. So yeah, I'll get straight into the video really. So yes, welcome back to another video. Similar to a video, if you're a subscriber of my channel and you've tuned into it, to what I did with my VW Golf R. I wanted to compare like a breakdown of all the costs that we've kind of gone through over the last 3 years to kind of help you guys out, you know, fast forward such popular cars similar to my Golf R as well. What you can kind of expect, everything from insurance, tax, servicing, depreciation, fuel, any sort of like excess claims and stuff like that on like windscreen and stuff like that. So give you a good like breakdown of how much it's actually going to cost you over this period of time. And yeah, we'll kind of get straight into it. Now I should stress that I owned my Fiesta ST, my Spirit Blue one, for about 4 years back when I just turned 23. And for that, because it's a better breakdown in comparison to my Golf R, I'll compare my car insurance of how much it cost me for those 3 years. But for all the other costs, we'll focus on the 3 years of this Fiesta ST because it's bang up to date. It's more in line to what you're going to expect should you be getting into one. That's kind of the idea. So hopefully that kind of clears this up. But yeah, as you can see, we're in an ST3, so top spec car. From Ford, it's a 2016 plate, so it's a 7.5 facelift, came with a few revisions. Lots of bits on my channel, and I have actually done a decent video, which I think you might find interesting. It was like 5 cheap and easy essentials for your Fiesta ST. So check that out. If you enjoyed this, you're probably going to enjoy that. So link above for that. So let's go through a breakdown of the costs here. I've written it all down here, similar to last time. And yeah, let's get stuck into it. So this car cost us £13,800. It belongs to my other half when we got it a year old. And so about 5,000 miles in, which, you know, again, it saved us a bit of money from buying it new. Now I've checked today's prices, and yeah, Mark 7 Fiesta STs hold themselves in good stead, and particularly unmodified ones. Modified ones, yeah, can sometimes be a bit iffy, but yeah, this one's completely unmodified. The only thing we've actually done this week actually is fit wind deflectors. Yeah, compared to say my Golf R, yeah, wind noise is a little bit strong from sort of like the windows, so we'll see if that helps actually. So that'll be interesting. They actually only cost about £20, Hecko wind deflectors, so quite cool, easy to fit. But yeah, £13,800 paid for the car. In today's market, it's worth about 9,500, I would say. You know, I try to compare back to when I sold my car, which was 4 years old and 40,000 miles. I sold it for 9,000. So I reckon that's about right. This has done about 10,000 less miles. I think that's what it's worth. So depreciation of about, well, we'll go into those kind of full costs in a second. But yeah, that's the cost of the car, which actually isn't too bad, and something that you've really got to take into consideration, as I mentioned in my last video. These are the costs that will be coming out of your pocket, you know, your hard-earned wage. This is what it's going into. So you've got to see if it's worth it or not. My other half, she didn't go for any sort of gap insurance or anything like that, so that was the cost of the car. Tax-wise, for 3 years, it's pretty much the same as my Golf R, funnily enough. So for 3 years, £420. So yeah, about 140 quid, rising about £5 each year. So £420 for tax, which is in the UK just to drive cars on the road, if you're not familiar. This car has had 1 MOT, which my car has, again, a difference from the Golf R, which was £40. Yeah, just a cost you have to pay. Wheels, which are easy to get curbed, she's done a much better job than I did on with my Spirit Blue one, and there's been no sort of costs on sort of like wheel refurbishments, no sort of extra costs around that side, so nothing on that. 1 claim on a windscreen, exactly the same excess again as my Golf R, £75. So all very like for like costs actually, which will add up in total in a second. Servicing is quite interesting because this is a fair bit cheaper. This is from a main Ford dealer as well, to be fair. Yeah, first service was £150, which I think is pretty good. Second one was £165, and then the major service, which is basically like spark plugs and stuff, was £307. So in total, £620. So yeah, that's not exactly too bad for 3 years servicing. Certainly a few hundred less than what I'd pay for my Golf R at VW. Now tyres, now this is quite interesting because we had to replace the fronts on these a lot sooner than I did on my Golf R. Again, comparing it because that's just what I know. My car I got 25,000 miles out of before I had to change all four, being four-wheel drive. This one, we got about 16, 17,000 miles out of it before we changed the two fronts for premium, Continental Premium Contact Sport 6s. And that was £198 fully fitted and all that kind of stuff. We have actually had to change the brakes on this car. That's fronts and rears, discs and pads. And for that all in, fitting and the parts, we got it from Euro Car Parts actually, and we fitted it at an independent. It was £237. So again, not a massive cost, but then interestingly, I guess it's a bit of driving style as well. You know, my brakes and discs and pads have got like a lot of life left in them. Insurance costs. Now this is when I go back to when I had my Spirit Blue Fiesta ST, seeing as a lot of young people would want to get insured on this car. It did not actually cost me that much at the time, surprisingly. I was really surprised when I picked it up, being a brand new car. It actually only cost me about £360 per year over 3 years, giving a total of about £1,080. So not too much to insure. My other half pays a little bit more, but then circumstances are different. So I'm trying to make it as like for like, so you can compare it to the video and the link in the description, link above, compared to my Golf R. So you get an idea of what the difference is between the two. And also can help you out if you're getting a Mk7 Fiesta ST as well, which, why wouldn't you? It's a great car, you know, less than 10 grand for something like this. It's a bargain in my mind. So that's the cost on that side. Now, petrol wise, fuel is an expense that we'll all have to pay, whatever car we have, be it a hot hatch or not. Now this car holds, trying not to get too boring here, about 47 litres compared to my Golf R, which holds 55 litres. Now out of a full tank, both cars get around 400 miles per tank, but obviously you're putting less in this car. So basically per every fill up, you're saving yourself on paying over the Golf R about 8 litres worth of fuel. So you are saving a bit of money there. Hard to work out the exact cost because, again, fuel wise, I think my other half has filled this mostly up with just standard 95 RON, whereas I use like premium fuel in mine, so super unleaded, Tesco Momentum and stuff like that. So it's a little bit hard to compare it directly, but I would say you're looking at somewhere between sort of £3,500 over the course of 3 years just on petrol if you're doing about 10,000 miles a year. So it is quite an important cost, but actually over the long haul, it's not actually that much different to a bigger car. I think it's due to the fact that actually this car, it has its sound imposer all the time. You can't turn it off. You can't really ever chill out in this car, whereas you probably can in that. So I think it affects the driving style. You have to rev this car quite hard. It's just that type of car, isn't it? Get up and go. You're not really looking at the fuel gauge too much. So I think the Golf kind of wins a little bit on that side, despite the fact that it's got 100 more brake horsepower and it's, well, nearly 400 kilos heavier as well. This is a lot lighter car, which does help on fuel. But yeah, just to give you an idea, £3,500 is probably what you're looking at fuel and what we've kind of paid over the course of 3 years. Now, hopefully that all helps and you can kind of go through a little bit of that. This is kind of, obviously, like I've said, just 3 year ownership of this Fiesta ST and kind of an estimate kind of costs, yeah, of how much it costs. So going through and adding this all up, it is interesting. It is interesting. And the biggest thing I think that you can save on for a car is getting one a year or two old or something like that. And obviously this car is now discontinued. They stopped selling them in 2017. But that's where you save the most money. But you're looking at just depreciation on this car alone is £4,300. It's cost us over 3 years. So there you go. That's the cost. Standalone for all the other expenses that I've mentioned. So that's, you know, windscreen, tax, servicing, fuel, tyres, brakes, all the little consumables and stuff like that. I've totaled it to £5,672, which again isn't massively dissimilar to the running costs of my Golf R behind me, which is a big reason why I actually stepped up into that car, to give you an idea of where I'm kind of coming from. Now, all of that combined with the depreciation, you're looking at about £9,900. and that's kind of all in. So sub 10 grand for 3 years. That is a couple of grand less than my Golf R, mainly because my Golf R is probably depreciated a little bit more. I guess it was a higher price point, all those kind of things taken into consideration. But that's what you kind of got to think about when you're buying these cars. Think about the depreciation. Think about, you know, if you're buying a modified car, because there are so many of these which are modified, you're not going to get that money back. Whereas like this car, if it's stock, keep it stock, you'll save money in the long run, and you've got a great car. It's 100% a fantastic car. Plenty of videos on this channel on this car, but hopefully that's a good, like, helpful breakdown for you. Yeah, a little rough estimate of what you kind of can expect on the costs. And, you know, drop a comment, let me know if you think that's quite reasonable. I think it's great for this type of car. I think that's why they're so popular. I think that's why they're so big with fast Ford fans such as myself. It's a great car, really well spec'd as well. And I think for that kind of money, it is kind of like a no-brainer if you like your hot hatches. As always on this channel, please drop a like, share and subscribe for like plenty more content to come, and get involved in the community. Big fast Ford fan, you know, it's such a great community in here, similar to like the Golf R. That's kind of why I love it, and that's probably why we own both cars, to be honest. Yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments, and yeah, and ask any questions, and I'll be happy to kind of answer them. Yeah, and hopefully you found this useful, which is the most important thing. But have a fantastic rest of your day. Yeah, and I will see you again next time. Cheers, guys.